The Philippines just pulled off an unprecedented economic masterstroke, and the global markets are catching their breath. According to a June 2025 exposé by the South China Morning Post, the Philippines just secured the lowest effective tariff rate in the world for its most critical exports to the United States, a jaw-dropping 6.33%. That's right, not Asia, the entire world. While countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand were slapped with flat 19 or 25% tariffs under Trump's aggressive new trade rules, the Philippines walked away with a deal that shocked even the most seasoned economists. Electronics, semiconductors, garments, furniture, processed food, and consumer goods. These weren't just spared. They were surgically shielded through product-specific exemptions that dropped their effective rate to a level no other nation on Earth received. This isn't just a win. This is an economic grand slam, a once-in-a-generation breakthrough. We didn't bend. We didn't break. We out-negotiated the world and made history while the world wasn't watching. So, how did we pull this off? What really happened behind closed doors? And why does this mean a new era for every Filipino, every worker, every dreamer who calls this country home? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear is the real story behind one of the greatest economic maneuvers in modern Philippine history. Subscribe now to Fun Fact, hit that like button, and share this video to your friends and kababayan around the world. Because this is the kind of story that deserves to be told. The crisis that could have crushed us. When Donald Trump returned to the White House, he didn't walk, he charged. Reviving his trademark America First trade war strategy, he began redrawing the global economic map with sweeping tariffs aimed not just to China, but at nearly every major exporter in Asia and across the globe. The Philippines was no exception. On April 2, 2025, the Trump administration proposed a 17% blanket tariff on a wide array of imported goods coming from Asia. For the Philippines, whose economy leans heavily on U.S. exports, this announcement sent a chill through every major sector. Electronics and semiconductors alone make up more than half of our exports to the U.S. Add garments, furniture, food products, and consumer goods, and you have an economy standing on a cliff. Jobs were at risk. Factories began reviewing cost-cutting measures. Investors froze. The fear was real. Then, on July 9, 2025, the threat intensified. The proposed tariff jumped to a crippling 20%. That was enough to make even the strongest economies flinch. And policy experts were already deep into back-channel negotiations. There were no press releases, no public drama, just careful planning, surgical diplomacy, and high-stakes strategy. The goal? Don't fight the whole tariff war. Focus instead on shielding the heart of our economy. And it worked. On July 31, 2025, just days before the 19% tariff was set to take full effect, the silent victory was secured. Through sectoral carve-outs and product-specific exemptions, the Philippines achieved what no other country had: an effective average tariff of just 6.33% on its most critical exports to the United States. Electronics, semiconductors, tech components, garments, food products, and high-value manufactured goods. These were spared the brunt of the blow. And not because of luck, but because of strategy. Congressman Joey Salcida, one of the key economic advisors involved in the quiet negotiation, explained it bluntly.
The 19% is just for optics. The effective tariff for our key exports is much lower, around 6.3%. That's lower than Japan, that's lower than Vietnam, lower than anyone.
This was confirmed by a detailed exposé from the South China Morning Post, which revealed the true nature of the exemptions. The 19% public figure was intended to help save face for other negotiating countries like Indonesia, which was also in talks with Trump at the time Marcos was there. But behind the curtain, the US gave the Philippines the best deal on the table. The ripple effects that will change our future. The impact of this silent deal is seismic. For manufacturers around the world, the message is now clear. If you want stable, low-tariff access to the United States for tech, electronics, and industrial goods, the Philippines is the place to be. NEDA just announced that companies based in China, Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia are now eyeing the Philippines as a new hub. Why pay 19% or 20% in tariffs when you can relocate to the only country in the world with a 6.3% deal, right? And it's already happening. Just days after returning from his U.S. visit, President Bongbong Marcos Jr. announced that the Philippines had secured $23 billion in foreign investment pledges. This wasn't a coincidence. This was momentum. This was the reward for playing smart. More factories mean more exports. More exports mean stronger GDP. And stronger GDP means a higher standard of living for Filipinos. This isn't just a win for the government. It's a win for every Filipino who wants a better job, a better income, and a better future. From OFWs to homegrown jobs. For decades, millions of Filipinos have had to leave the country just to find work. Our engineers, doctors, nurses, seafarers, technicians, and caregivers have been scattered across the globe in search of opportunity. But what if the opportunity came home? This trade victory opens that door. With new factories, industrial parks, export zones, and logistics hubs on the way, the demand for skilled workers in the Philippines is about to skyrocket. Imagine a future where a fresh graduate doesn't need to go to Dubai or Singapore to earn a livable wage, where parents no longer have to say goodbye to their children just to support them, where OFWs return not because they have to, but because they want to. With the lowest effective tariff in the world, we're no longer just exporting products. We're building a future where Filipino talent thrives on home soil. The exodus can finally end. The Renaissance begins. A message to the world. We are not to be underestimated. What just happened was not an accident. It was not a stroke of luck. It was the result of smart leadership, unified action, and a nation that understands how to play the long game. For far too long, the Philippines has been underestimated on the world stage, seen as the underdog in the shadow of larger economies. But this deal changes the conversation. We outmaneuvered. We outnegotiated. We delivered. And to every country watching, take note. We may be a nation of islands, but we are not isolated. We are not weak, and we are not to be ignored. This deal didn't just rewrite our trade relationship with the US, it redefined who we are in the global economy. We're not just catching up, we're setting the pace. The call to action. Let's ride the momentum. Now that the breakthrough has been made, the work begins. This is our time to act. If you're an entrepreneur, it's time to build. If you're an investor, it's time to plant seeds. If you're a policymaker, it's time to clear the way. And if you're a worker, it's time to rise, because the jobs are coming. Universities and technical schools must now align with this new wave of industrial demand. The business sector must prepare to scale up. Local governments must create enabling environments. And our people, Filipinos from every province, must be ready to own this new era of opportunity. This isn't just government work, it's a national movement. So the next time someone says, the Philippines got hit with 19% tariffs, look them straight in the eye and say, they've got it all wrong, came out with the low strength, respect, and unmatched opportunity. This is a call to our workers, our innovators, our leaders, our youth, that the future starts now, and it starts right here, on our soil. We are no longer just surviving, we are soaring. So if you're proud to be Filipino, if you believe in this victory and everything it means for our future, then don't just scroll past this. Subscribe to